Hi, good evening. My name is Paul. I want to thank John and Vicky for hosting this open house. Congratulations. The food was excellent, and the entertainment, the music, the spoken word, those stories have been great. I've been to a lot of churches in my life, never one that I've experienced like this, where I could come in and get brisket and perhaps a tattoo. But John contacted me a couple days ago and asked me to speak, so immediately my stomach started to work overtime, and I really didn't want to, but the answer is always yes. And I wrote some notes, but then I stopped and I said, well, and I prayed about it. I said, God, just lead me, and I hope what I have to say tonight could benefit you. I feel like the old man up here. There's been a lot of young people. But I grew up in the East, in Nova Scotia, and my dad was a policeman. My grandfather was a policeman. And, of course, I became a plumber. No. I was a first responder and grew up in a great home, great family, and everything was normal. In high school, I remember I was hanging around with my friend Pat Kelly, a good Irish kid, and we were walking back on the tracks, and he had a pint of something, this amazing elixir, and wow, that really changed me. Anyways, fast forward to getting through high school and university, and I was stationed out west, and nothing really prepares you for what first responders see, and we do things other people don't want to do, and we see things people don't want to see, and there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of death. Most of it is fueled by substances, and death kind of clings to the uniform, and I think little by little it chips away at you, and you don't realize it, and you become numb, and people become like files that I have to deal with, and I wasn't prepared for that type of carnage. And usually to sort of get you through that, we worked hard and we played hard, and there was a lot of drinking, and it just built up. And I was married, I still am married, and we had our first I don't know who that is. So we had our first child, and everything, should have been wonderful, but there was something missing. And, the wheels were kind of coming off. And I was struggling, and I was in a small town, and there was one incident that I was, quite intoxicated, and the next day it was like I had to do something. So I phoned a recovery line, and they asked a couple of questions, and I quickly thought, yeah, this could be helpful. And that, in combination with a few other things, I thought church was missing. I was raised Catholic, and it was like a lucky charm. When I got in trouble, I would pray, and I would say, oh, God knew my heart. But I don't think I know I wasn't living for Christ. And it was getting progressively worse, and I knew it had something to do with church, and I phoned this church, and I had my little notebook, and I wrote all these questions down. And then I went in, and my wife said, Paul, we don't go to church. I said, yeah, I know, but something says that I should go to church. So I put my wife and children in the chapel or whatever, and I went upstairs and met this guy. And the questions were like, what do I have to give up? What's going to happen? I don't want to be in Africa in a, full of fear. And I got to about the fourth thing, and I broke. I just wept. Exactly where God wanted me. Humble, broken. And I don't know much of what happened after that other than, we probably prayed. And I went out after. It was a beautiful sunny day. And my wife says, what's wrong? I said, I'm exhausted. I am whipped. And I woke up and everything had changed. I could not believe how beautiful everything was. That was quite an experience. And I thought, that was it. And I've since learned that, that's not the end. So pretty on fire for the Lord, pick up hitchhikers and witness to them, put up stuff in the office and get mocked, quite readily. People came in, argued with me, yelled at me. Remember when this one guy came in and said, you're nuts, you freak, this and that. And then he just said, I just asked him, I said, well, what if I'm right? He just went away quietly. He never came back, never bothered me again. And I'll tell you, to believe in the supernatural, the pain that we saw and we carry, because it's hard to forget, this woman had lost her husband, and she felt the best way was to consume a lot of pills, and we picked her up, and the quickest way was to drive her in the police car. And I was in the passenger seat, and this woman is someone that we worked with. We knew her, and she knew us, and I found out later that she referred to me as, Paul is my angel. And I thought, well, and she said, I couldn't see Paul. All I could see was this massive light around him, like this bright light. That I sort of carry that as a reminder, and I cherish that. That's God's power. And I'm honored that, that light would shine through. And having that experience slowed me down. I didn't see people as files. I saw them as people. And this one guy came in, and he was bent on causing a lot of destruction. But I could hear him. He spoke, and I just listened, and he just decided that wasn't what he was going to do, and that wasn't me. That was, me in a position that, God could use me. And I'd love to say that, it was all sunshine, rainbows, and gumdrops, and that's not what happened. Life went on. You exchanged one addiction for another, and, I threw myself into work, and lots of things happened. I got promoted, transferred, and I took on more and more and more, and those tragedies build up. They compound. I came home, and we got transferred here from the West, and little by little I started to shut down. I was having a breakdown. I couldn't see it. I couldn't engage with my family. The things I dealt with at work, I couldn't explain to anyone, and I couldn't deal with the family stuff at home because it seemed like not that important. And then finally there was a big blow up, and I was asked to leave, and I had to leave the house. My daughter wouldn't speak with me. I was out of the house, honestly, and I was full of pride. I slept in my vehicle for a few days. I'd go to work, I'd shower up, get my uniform on, go into my desk and go through working, and finally I just couldn't do that anymore. I went to my doctor, and I remember calling my wife and saying, listen, I just can't do this anymore. She goes, well, we got people, kids in university, keep going. It seemed like the right thing, but I was burned. I had a lot of pressure, a lot of jobs. Anyways, I came across something today. A person in recovery will also report that out of every season of grief or suffering when the hand of God seemed heavy or just non-existent, new lessons for living were learned, new resources of courage were uncovered, and finally, inescapably, the conviction came that God does move in a mysterious way, His wonders to perform. So I was out of the house, and I couldn't rest on my laurels anymore, so I came back to the program, and I worked the program, got a sponsor, and my life changed. I came home. I have a great relationship with my daughter, and it's not a straight path. I have to struggle every day. I need quiet time. I need meditation, and all I know is, again, in the material, all those who have persisted have found strength not ordinarily their own. They found wisdom beyond their usual capability and have increasingly found a peace of mind which can stand firm in the face of difficult circumstances. Just thank you for letting me share.